Hey guys, what's going on? This is Sean at Classic Fisker of Atlanta. Reading on the forums that a lot of people are having issues with dead oceans, trying to figure out how to gain access to it, get it charged. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that today. You're going to need 3 tools. First, you're going to need some plastic pry tools. You can get these really cheap, a couple bucks in a set of 4 off of Amazon. Make sure they're plastic. Next thing you're going to need is a 13mm socket. My preference is going to be a magnetic socket, meaning that it's magnetized to the bolt, or the bolt rather is magnetized to the socket. And the second piece is going to be this extension. And again, make sure you get a locking extension. The locking extension means that you can't pull this socket free of the extension. Both of these things, what they're going to do is, as you remove these 2 bolts, you're not going to lose them down into the front bumper or the front fascia area. And then you're also not going to lose your socket accidentally either. I've done both of those. And then the third tool that you're going to need is going to be a jump box. What kind of jump box doesn't really matter, as long as it can support 12 volts or better. So when you turn it on, right now I'm showing 13, a little bit more than 13 volts. So anything over 12 volts, think about the fact that the 12 volt battery is what we're trying to jump. All right, so to start off, let's check and make sure that the battery itself is dead and not the key fob battery. So the easy way to do that is take your key fob out, walk up to your car, hit the unlock button. Okay, the car is not unlocking. Is the key fob battery dead or the car battery? Come up to your door, driver's side door handle, there's an NF reader, and you can just hold the key up to it. If the door handles pop out, it's a good indication that your key fob battery is dead, not the car battery. If you need to change a key fob battery, it's really simple. Take the buttons, place them down to the ground so the Fisker logo is up. Take 1 or 2 thumbs, put it on the back, and just slide it forward. You'll notice that as I slid that forward, there's a little bit of a difference here between the bottom and the top of the key. You can just pull those apart. Another little good investment off of Amazon are these little picks. On the other side, they have a flathead screwdriver, and you can use that to dig the key fob batteries out. So a new CR 2032 battery goes in. Go ahead and reassemble your key. And then we can check functionality of the buttons, the unlock button, the lock button, things of that nature. Okay, cool. So it was our key fob battery that was dead, not the car. Again, check this first before you go straight to working on the car. Cool, all right, so the easy way to start this off, first thing you're gonna need is that plastic pry tool. And we're gonna take off this front trim piece just below the light bar. Placement for where to put this, I do not like to go between painted sections. I prefer to go between this painted section and this light bar. So go ahead and put this in and just press down. Once you press down and you have some separation, you can get your fingers behind here, you can ditch your pry tool, and you can pull this whole panel off the car. Make sure you have like a beach towel or something along those lines, something soft that you can lay this down. You can lay it down painted side down or painted side up. My preference is painted side up so that we don't scratch that. From here, what we're looking for are 2 U-shaped notches on either side, and inside those U-shaped notches, you're gonna see a silver 13mm bolt in each. They're the only silver bolts on the entire front end, and again, they're also the only 2 that are assessed. So take your 13mm socket, again, magnetized with a locking extension works best. Go ahead and put them in and remove those bolts. Once those 2 bolts are out, you can set your socket and extension of those 2 bolts down as well. And then from there, we can just lift the hood up. There is no hood release inside the car. There's no latch mechanism outside. It just lifts straight up. You'll hear a little click. That click is this locking mechanism, locking the hood in place. So now it's just gonna hold itself up, and we have access to be able to jump our car off in the 12 volt battery. The 12 volt battery is right here. And the jump points that we're gonna need access to, one of them is underneath this, our positive, and then our negative ground, I'll show you where else that is. So right here on the very front of this fuse box cover, there's a little tab. Just pull up on that. Whole fuse box cover comes off. You can set that aside. Our positive jump point is right here. It's not just this nut, but this whole piece. And then our negative ground is going to be right here. All right, cool. Once you have everything disassembled and the hood open and that fuse box cover off, go ahead and put your jump box up here. Make sure the jump box is in the off position. Doesn't matter if you start positive first or negative first. Positive for anybody that's not automotively inclined is usually identified by the red color. So we're going to take this and we're going to clamp it on the back here, that positive terminal. Again, not just the nut, but the entire thing. And then we're going to take the negative, which again, for those that aren't automotively inclined, negative is usually identified by a black color. So we're going to take this and we're going to go to our negative ground. Now, I want you guys to see something. There are two different pieces of metal that are hanging down, one on the left and one on the right. The negative ground is the one on the right. It can be identified by being a little bit longer. So we're going to take that and clip it right there. All right, from here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn our jump box on. Before I do that, just be forewarned. Sometimes it sets off the car alarm, so having your key fob handy is really helpful for this. So I'm going to turn that 12 volt on. Okay, we didn't set off our car alarm. If your car alarm goes off, have your key fob just hit the unlock button and you're absolutely fine. From here, if I wasn't able to get in my car was 100% dead, I should be able to walk over to the door, use either the NF reader or the key fob. Awesome, now my car is going to unlock and give me access to it. I can put my foot on the brake, car comes on, and we're good to go. So this is about the most important part of this whole process. Putting the jump box on your car, that's all fine and good, but usually what happens is if your car is dead enough, you put that jump box on the car and you get it started. As soon as you take the jump box off the car, the whole car dies again. So if you have the ability to, let's say you have a level 1 charger or a level 2 charger at your house, awesome. Or if you're able to get your car towed to a level 2 or a level 3 charger before going through this process, awesome. Once you're at that charging station or you get an extension cord that allows you to get that charger closer to the car, just a word on that, make sure that if you are using an extension cord, it handles the same amperage as what the charger does. I think these level 1 chargers put out around 13 amps, so make sure that you're using 13 or greater on your extension cord. Go to Home Depot, it's right there on the packaging. Anyway, once you have the jump box on your car, you're able to get your car unlocked and turned on. From there, you can open your charge port door. I know that everything's working the way that it's supposed to because that charge port light in there is blue. From there, I can get my charger and I can plug it in. Color changes to green. Now I know that it's taking on that charge. At this point, I can come back over underneath the hood of my car. I can turn my jump box off, and then I can disconnect the positive and the negative. And again, it doesn't matter if you do positive first or negative first. Make sure the jump box is off. And then you can pull that out from underneath the hood. But again, your car will not allow you most of the time to move it if the jump box isn't on and active under the hood, and it won't even allow you to plug in and take on a charge unless there is some form of electricity going to the car. So keeping the jump box on the car and turned on is a paramount part of this whole process. From there, I'll show you guys the kind of reset procedure on how to put your car back together. So we're just going to go through the reassembly process quickly on this cover. You'll notice that there's a recessed or indented portion here that represents the front. It's also the same side as what this clip is on. So we're just going to go ahead and put that back on top of this cover. Clicks into place. Really not a whole lot to it. Again, make sure your charge box has been removed from the car and is turned off. And then from there, we're going to come over here to the driver's side of the hood. And there is a pin right here that pops through and latches. All we're going to do is we're going to apply some upward pressure on the hood. So push it up a little bit. It's going to take pressure off of this pin. Once the pressure's off the pin, you can push it, hold it, and then slowly start letting the hood down. Don't force your finger all the way through this hole, because as you start to let the hood down, it'll get caught within that kind of scissor mechanism. Again, there's no latch mechanism here, so you can just lay the hood down, no need to slam it. From there, once you've got your hood closed, go ahead and get your extension with your 13 mil and your 2 bolts from before. Go ahead and get that bolt magnetized on there, find the hole. Now the process of taking this off looked a lot faster than the process of it going back on. That's because we set ourselves up for success, and I backed a lot of these threads off. Putting it back on, you get to see in real time. Once you get these 2 bolts threaded in, before we put that front fascia piece back on the car, we're going to lift up on the hood just to make sure that it is indeed secure. Awesome, the hood is secure. So you can grab that front fascia piece right here. On the back side, you'll notice a bunch of clips. We're just going to match those up with these little recessions. And once they're matched up, you just pop it back in place. So we've gone through the process of identifying whether or not the car itself was dead, or the key fob, replacing the key fob battery if the key fob was dead, how to get into the car using the key fob if the car is not unlocked, how to get into the hood, access the jump points, again, leaving the jump box on the car while we go through the process of opening the car, making sure it powers on, and then getting our charger onto the car. And you'll notice that now that the jump box has been removed, we've reassembled the hood of the car. We can come back over here. The electronics are still on in the car. This little light in the charge port is still green. So that means that us leaving that jump box on long enough gave us the ability to put this onto the car. And then we can just put our head in the window, make sure that it is indeed taking on a charge. Okay, yes it is, awesome. So we're good to go. You can let this charge for as long as you feel comfortable. If you're on a level 2, awesome, let it charge all the way up or to 80%. If you're on a level 1, you get enough mileage, on your charge to get you to a level 2 or a level 3 charger to charge the car all the way up. But that's as simple as it is. Again, just 3 tools needed, and make sure that when you do this, you have access to a charger. All right, so the last way that we can charge the 12 volt is actually done while charging the car. So with either a level 1, 2, or 3 charger plugged into the charge port, we can come in to the charging screen, and you'll see battery saver and AC current limit. Battery saver is how much percentage of charge the car is taking on, and then AC current limit is what amount of current it's using to receive that charge. The higher the number, the faster the charge. We actually, if we want to focus on charging the 12 volt, want to turn this down to 8 amps. 8 amps seems to tender the 12 volt battery better, but keep in mind it's also going to reduce the amount of time it takes to charge the vehicle. So not something I would recommend all the time, and honestly would only do this if you get that 12 volt battery low indicator and you have to charge the car. Otherwise, just drive the car or throw the car in neutral, make sure the parking brake's on, hang out with the car, like I said, 5-10 minutes, use the main battery to charge the 12 volt, and you should be fine. When you're done doing this, make sure that you reset it up to 32 amps. That way you're not wondering in a couple weeks when you're charging why it's taking so long to charge your car. But that's it.